we'll take up that analysis of rigid frames. You know what is meant by a rigid frame? It is a structure which consists of members lying in orthogonal direction along the coordinate axis chosen. In beams, all the members of the structure lie only along or parallel to the orthogonal axis, one orthogonal axis. If you select the orthogonal axis or coordinate axis like this, x, y and z, then in case of beams, all members lie along horizontal axis. In case of rigid frames, though beam is also a rigid frame, the difference between that rigid frame actually what we call and the beam is, in the beams all members lie parallel to one axis, and in case of rigid frame all members lie parallel to two axes, two orthogonal axes of the coordinate system chosen like this. It is only parallel to orthogonal axis. If it is inclined to this orthogonal axis, then it is totally a different type of problem, where it is not in the purview of your syllabus. We have one, that is why it is clearly told analysis of orthogonal structures or orthogonal frames. Either it's a beam wherein only one direction all the members are lying, or it is a rigid frame where members are lying in two directions, two orthogonal directions of the coordinate system, and we don't have any analysis of any rigid frame which lie in any direction. That is inclined frames normally. So we take up this particular frame. Already we have completed the analysis of beams fully, taking into consideration all varieties or all sorts of loading, temperature loading, settlement, regular gravity loads on members. All these things we have considered in those three problems which have been worked. Now same type of exercise we do with respect to rigid frames also. Here, analysis of rigid frames is not different from the analysis of the beams. Same steps holds good here also. The first step, you have to just take the system of coordinates and identify with respect to those coordinates the kinematic indeterminacy, that is number of unknown displacements to be determined during analysis. And also you have to mark the member end forces which you have to determine during analysis along with the support reaction. That step remains same. Then writing the slope deflection equation, second step, that also remains same. Each member you have to take it separately, whether it lies in the vertical direction or horizontal direction. Independently you have to take it and write slope deflection equation in terms of the displacements identified in step 1. You have to write it. Then you have to apply compatibility conditions. As usual, there are two types of not compatibility, it is equilibrium condition. There are two types of equilibrium conditions because we assume members to be axially rigid. It is only with respect to shear, vertical shear and moment. Only with respect to those two forces only we get equations of equilibrium, that is sigma y equals 0 and sigma m equals 0. So that particular equation we have to apply in the case of the frames also. That second equation first equation sigma y equals 0, which is called as sway condition, that we apply only in case of sway type of frames, as I already told in beams. Other moment condition, it will be there for all problems, because moment will be there, because as the name itself indicates, it is all joints are rigid joints, moment will be present at all the joints. So we have to apply that equilibrium condition with respect to moments for all types of problem, whether it is sway type or non-sway type. After that, we are going to get a set of simultaneous equation. We have to solve it, get the unknown displacement. Finally, using slope deflection equation, we have to obtain the member and actions which we have identified. Those steps, 5 or 6 steps which I told, it remains same even in the analysis of frames also. So straight away we will take up a problem. So to start with, I will take a simple problem having only 2 members, because as per your syllabus, so the problem which we have to solve should not have kinematic indeterminacy more than 3. So I have already circulated the probable type of problem which you are going to get. It is only about 9 or 10 or maximum a dozen type of problem only you are supposed to solve. Things are very, very simple. It is not all that complicated. That same set of 10 or 12 type which you have to solve, wherein the kinematic indeterminacy is not more than 3, you can solve by all the 5 units: slope deflection, moment distribution, carnage, matrix stiffness, and matrix flexibility. So you are at it. So it is as simple as that. You need not have to bother. In one method you solve, have a ready-made answer, go on comparing with other methods. Only thing you should know what are the basic things or basic methodology you have to follow in each of these methods. Other than that, there is nothing much in that. Simply don't go on complicating the issues. So now we will take up to start with a simple example to explain the procedure. Let us take this example. We will take a frame, rigid plane frame involving members lying parallel to both orthogonal axes, horizontal as well as vertical. So we will take a frame ABC subjected to a load 50 kilonewton per meter acting on the beam, length of beam is 6 meters, and EI we can take it as 2 EI, and the length of this vertical member, which we call column, is 4 meters, and flexural rigidity EI. This is the simple problem I am taking. So you have to just analyze this frame and draw the bending moment diagram now. As usual, I will just run through, since you already know the slope deflection method now fully well, you should be master of that. Since you have solved 3 problems, I will just run through. I don't go on explaining each and every step. The first step already I told, you have to identify the unknown displacements at various joints. Here there are 3 joints. At those 3 joints, you identify the possible displacements which are going to occur. As I told you, so we are going to get 3 types of displacement at each joint, 2 translatory type of displacements and 1 rotatory type or angular type of rotation. So here at this joint, first joint, I will take a joint A. 3 types out of 3 types of displacement which are possible. We go on examining whether, depending upon the boundary conditions, whether all displacements are possible or not. Here, this is a fixed joint. So this is a fixed boundary. So here, since it is fixed, there should not be any displacement at all. Displacement I am talking about, mind it repeatedly I am telling. Don't confuse, moment is there, moment is there. Because most of you just think about only those forces. I am talking about displacements. So the displacement, since it is fixed, all displacements are 0. So there cannot be any displacement marking. Same thing at other support boundary also, you just examine here at this boundary also possible type of 3 out of possible 3 types of displacement, no displacement should be possible. You write all displacements are 0. Then when you come to this joint, It is a continuous joint. We define a joint as continuous, wherein more than two members or more than one member is there. More than one member, we call it as continuous joint. Here at this joint, we have two members meeting. Here also, three displacements are possible. Out of these three displacements, let us examine one by one. First, let us examine horizontal displacement. So this horizontal displacement, it is possible at this joint if you take it independently. So this joint can move vertically, horizontally towards right or left. It is possible. But this end of this particular member BC, it is not allowed to move in that horizontal direction. It is zero. And we assume in slope deflection method, all members are axially rigid, that is, there is no contraction or elongation of the member as such. Bodily, this member has to move, if at all it has to move. That means whatever movement is there at left hand, same movement is there, should be at the right hand also. Since here at right hand it is zero, here also it should be zero. That condition we apply and we say this is not possible. Using same type of explanation, this vertical displacement at this joint, though it is possible as such, it is not allowed to occur because of this particular member which is axially rigid. Since this member is axially rigid, if this moves up, this also should move up or down in the vertical direction. But this is not allowed because it is the boundary. At the boundary or support, joints are not allowed to move at all. We say it is the boundary condition. So since this is not allowed, this also should be zero. This is the condition we use even in analysis of beams also. Why we were assuming axially rigid means at one end either we should have a fixed support or hinged support. It is not supposed to move at all horizontally unless locally it can move. Locally, if you have a roller, if you have an inclined lobe, it can move, but automatically it creates a reaction only at the fixed end. So otherwise, that particular joint also we have to take it as zero. So here next, this rotation, it is possible, we say theta b. So this is your kinematic indeterminacy, that is unknown displacements at all the joints. First step, unknown displacement. Then member forces. What are the forces which you have to determine? The member end forces. We have to determine the member end forces are this. For this member BC, we have to determine the moment at the two ends and also shear at the two ends. Because this member is axially rigid, so axial force we don't have to consider. This member is BC, so we have to determine this BBC, VCB and MBC and MCB. Same thing with respect to AB member, right? So AB member shear will be along x-axis, positive direction. As we have here, shear for this member is normal to the axis, that is this direction. Here for this member, axis is this, positive direction only we have to take, axis of the member, because I told you for global coordinate system, we have to consider the axis of the member as horizontal as one of the axes, other two orthogonal directions as the other two axes. And in the case of member coordinate system, member axis itself is chosen as one of the axes and other two are chosen as the coordinate axis. Here, the member axis as well as global axis, they are coinciding. So we need not have to apply any transformation. Whereas if the member is inclined, then the problem comes. We have to adopt transformation of Cartesian to global, Cartesian to member or member to Cartesian coordinates. That is why I told you in the beginning itself, inclined line members we are not considering, only orthogonal frames or beams we are considering, wherein they are coinciding with this. This is called system approach of analysis, not element type of approach. The other one, element type, is finite element analysis. That is, don't bother about that particular aspect at this stage. It is altogether a different topic. It's an element approach. We have only system type of approach, wherein the coordinate system, whether it is local coordinate system, that is member coordinate system, or global coordinate system, they are coinciding. And all member axes, they will coincide with they are matching with the global direction. That's an important aspect which you have to remember. So this aspect already in the previous semester it has been told while doing the analysis of truss. The global member axis, I think it has been told to you, or circle notes has been circulated. You have to remember those basics, because all your geometry of the member, that is your direction, cosines, coordinates, everything, it has to be represented with respect to global direction, and all other member end actions, it has to be with respect to local coordinate system. Here they are coinciding, we don't have to bother, and now you can forget that I don't want to complicate that particular issue. Now here coming to this column member, shear force has to be like this, because it has to be in the positive direction of that translation. Here also, this is the shear force, this is VAB, this is VBA, and this is MBC, MPA, and this is MAB. These are the member end actions which you have to determine. Member end actions, unknown, joint displacements, and of course you can just say reactions also. Reactions, support reactions, this, here it is this, moment, here. Generally you can write it, some of them may be 0. This is VA, which is nothing but VAB. This is HA, which is nothing but this is VA, or this is VA, which is nothing but your VBC. This VA has to be this VBC, because ultimately all the load, vertical or horizontal, through the joints, ultimately it has to transfer to the support. So here, this VA vertical one comes here, VBC. Similarly, this HA will be this VAB, and this MA is nothing but your MAB, and here MCB, that is MC, and this is HC, which is nothing but VBA. And this is VC. VC is nothing but VCB itself. So these are the support reactions. Knowing this and this, you can plot shear force, or only knowing this, it is enough. You can plot bending moment and shear force diagram. This is a very, very important step I am repeatedly telling or explaining, which you are not supposed to forget. If you do any mistake in this step, whatever you do in further steps, it's a waste. Right? There is no point. Sir, I have done complete problem, wasting so much time, or running into that much pages I have written. No use when you are not identifying the node displacement itself correctly. What is the point? You might have done all the work, all other things. Simply it's a waste of work for valuation purpose. Nobody is checking you for arithmetical calculations here. We are checking with the principles and methodology, which has to be a pakka one at each and every stage. That's why repeatedly I am telling the 3 steps, especially first step, second step, slope deflection equations, compatibility, that is equilibrium conditions. You have to do without any mistake with utmost care. You have to take utmost care with presence of mind, with all application of your mind. You have to do it. Simply blindly, you should not carry out the things. Then we will take up second step, that is slope deflection equations. Slope deflection equations. So there will be two equations for each member. Member AB, you write slope deflection equations for ABN and BAN. That's AN and BN. MAB is 2EI by L into 2 theta A plus theta B minus 3 delta by L plus MAB bar. That's the equation. Here MAB equals 2EI by L, that is 2 into EI is EI, divided by L is 4. So that is 2EI by 4 or EI by 2 into 2 theta A. Theta A is 0 because this is unknown displacements. I am working in the first step. 2 theta A means theta A is 0, so this is 0. Then theta B is there, that I have to take it as it is, theta B. Then minus 3 delta by L, there is no delta at all for AB. Delta is this, that's movement normal to the axis of the member, translated type of movement, not rotated type. So there is no translated type of movement at all at the ends of the member, so delta is 0. 3 delta by L is 0. MAB bar, because there is no member load, so MAB bar is also 0. There is no fixed time moment. So that you can simplify, it is nothing but just EI by 2 into theta B. That's your first equation. Then second equation, MBA, it is 2EI by L theta A plus 2 theta B minus 3 delta by L MBA bar. So whatever you are getting here, that will be interchanged. The coefficients of theta B and next other n coefficients, it has to be interchanged. Here, this value remains same, EI by 2, that will not alter. Here you have
2
theta B, it should be 2 theta B. 2 theta B. So it is nothing but EI theta B itself. So this I am simplifying straight away. That you can also do. Earlier I was explaining each and every step. Now you can skip. So it saves time for you also. Next you can take other member BC, MBC and MCB for that member BC. MBC is 2EI by L, 2 into 2EI it is. That you always see in the given example. Some will be 2EI, some will be EI or 3I, whatever it is, that you have to observe thoroughly the data given in the problem. It is 2 into 2EI, so it is 4EI divided by L is 6. That is 4EI by 6, that is 2EI by 3. Right?
Yes.
2EI by 3 into 2 theta B. Theta B is there. 2 theta B. Then plus theta C. Theta C is 0. Then again, this member is also not undergoing any translation because it is 0, 0. So that minus 3 delta by L, it is 0. And MBC bar, here there is UDL. If you assume the member ends to be fixed, for that UDL, the fixed end moments, here it will be WL squared by 12, that is 50 into 6 squared by 12, that is 150. Here also it is 150. This will be in the anti-clockwise direction because applied moment will be clockwise. This node will, about this particular point will give you a moment like this. So resisting has to be opposite, it is like this. So which as per our global sign convention of anti-clockwise, so it is negative, so it is minus 150. So you can simplify, you will get 4ei by 3 theta b, 4ei by 3 theta b,
minus 150.
right? Then minus
150.
150. That's all. That's your third equation. And last equation, that is MCB, it is same as this, 2ei by 3.
Into theta
So here this will be theta b, this will be 0, 0,
plus 1.
this is plus 150, or this will be, instead of 4ei by 3, you have 2ei by 3 theta b plus 150. So this is fourth equation. That is, there is no much change when compared to your analysis of this. Take each member, whether it is vertical or horizontal, take that. Only direction of shear you have to take for vertical member in the horizontal direction. For horizontal member, it is in the vertical direction. That's all that you have to take it correctly. So after writing that, then third step, you have to apply equilibrium condition. That is, here since it is non-sway, only one equilibrium condition you have, that is moment equilibrium condition at each joint. So at joint A, it is,
Fixed.
there is no rotation occurring. So at joint B, rotation is occurring. So there must be a condition. Here joint C, no rotation is allowed, so you need not have to bother about any equilibrium condition. Only here. So what it says, equilibrium condition, moment condition, sum of all the moments should be 0. That is, here there should not be any rotation. That's what we expect. To see that there should not be any rotation, there must be net moment MB on account of the load should be 0. On account of load, moment developed are MBC, MBA, that has to be 0. So at joint B only you are getting, that is MBA plus MBC equals 0. So that's the only condition we have, moment condition. It is not a sway, then sway condition is not there. So only one equation. Naturally, because here kinematic indeterminacy is also 1. So here we should get as many conditions as there are kinematic indeterminacy. Right? Here one unknown, that. The next step, fourth step, formation of equations. Formation of equations. That is, you have to club or combine the equilibrium condition and slope deflection equation. You will get an equation in terms of unknown displacement. So here MBA plus MBC 0. That is given by 2 and 3. MBA is given by 2, MBC is given by 3. So therefore from 2, 3 and 5. The 2, 3 you substitute in 5. So MBA, that is A theta B, is MBA. MBC is 4EI by 3 plus 4EI by 3 theta B minus 150. That is MBC. That has to be 0. So you have now a simultaneous equation in terms of unknown displacement theta B. So or we can say this EI theta B, this if you simplify EI theta B plus 4EI by 3 theta B is 7 EI by 3 theta B. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Then minus 150 equals 0. So this is your simon, or we can say theta B is equal to you transfer this other side minus 450 by 7 EI. That's all. Already you got solution. Because here there is only one variable, you got that variable itself as it is. Otherwise, if you had 2 or 3 variables, you would have got one equation, another equation, then one more step you have to solve. Here, formation of equation itself is leading the solution. There is no necessity of going for next step. That's why I told you I will select a simple problem to start with to explain the procedure. So straight away you got, otherwise you can take solution of equations. That is the next step. Here there is no question of any solution process involved because only one equation you will get straight away. There is no displacement. That is theta b is minus 450 by 7. That is the solution. Then sixth step, you have to obtain final moments. That is, whatever end moments, MAB, MBA, MBC, MCB, which you have to find out, member and actions, that you have the equations here in terms of unknown displacement, which you have solved here. Substitute this value of theta b in these equations, you will get the moments. So, substituting theta b in slope deflection equations, in slope deflection equations 1 to 4, we get the final moments. MAB, MBA, MBC, MCB. The 4 end moments will get. MAB is EI by 2 into theta b. Theta b is minus 450 by EI. Minus 450, correct? Or minus or plus? I think it is plus. 7 EI by 3 theta b plus. Minus 150. If you transfer that side, it becomes plus. So this is plus. Okay? So now MAB is, theta b is this. That is 450 by 7, that cancels. You have 450 by 14 minus. Correct?
32.14.
Whatever it is.
Okay.
Then in MBA, it is EA theta b, that is straight away. This is not minus, it is plus.
Plus.
So this is also plus. So it is 450 by 7. That's all. That EI that cancels. EI theta b. So this EI, that EI cancels. You will have 450 by 7. Then MBC, it is 4 EI by 3 into theta b. That EI get cancelled. You have 4 into 450 divided by 21. That is 1800 by 7. 4 into 450. That is 1800 divided by 3 into 7. That is 21. That is this minus 150. So I can simplify that. Then
Plus minus 450 by 7.
it has to be minus 450 by 7 because MBA plus MBC has to be 0. Here MBA is 450 by 7, here it is minus 450 by 7, it has to be 0. That's a check for you, whether you have solved the equations correctly or not. That's the only thing. Then MCB, lastly, MCB is this 2EI by 3 into theta b. This EI get cancels, you have 2 into 450, 900 divided by 3 into 7, 21. Then this will be plus 150. So I can simplify, you get it. So you got the member and moments. So the last step, that is 7th step, you can plot the bending moment diagram and shear force diagram. As you did in the same type of steps, absolutely there is no change, whether it's a beam or frame. There in beam, all members were lying in one line, that is horizontal line. Here in frame, some members will go in the other direction also, other orthogonal direction, not in inclined way. That type of problem you are not going to solve because you are landing up with local coordinate, global coordinate transformation, all those finite element approach, forget it. So your system approach, all local coordinate system coinciding with global, so don't have to bother, can do it. Then bending moment diagram only I will take up, so straight away I will plot the bending moment diagram and show at least in this example. So you have MAB, first you draw arcs like that, simplified procedure of bending moment diagram I will show you. So MAB, it is positive, positive means it is clockwise. So you indicate arrow now in the positive direction. Then MBA, again it is positive. So this is MBA moment. So positive means clockwise. I will indicate the arrow. Then MBC, it is negative. Negative means it is arrow has to be in the anti-clockwise. First you draw arcs like this. Then you indicate the arrow direction depending upon the final moment whether it is positive or not. The direction of arrow, let it indicate clockwise if it is positive moment, in the other direction if it is anti-clockwise. And here also I think it is positive only, so it has to be like this. So these are the fixed end moment. Here it is 450 by 14, you can indicate it, and 450 by 7 and so on.
Minus.
450 by 7 and this value whatever you are getting. Right? Then you start plotting the bending moment diagram. While plotting, you plot it on the tail side of the arrow here. Tail side means the tension side. You have to plot the bending moment diagram always on the tension side, that is sagging side, positive. Sagging side only we plot bending moment diagram, treating it as positive. So here, tension is here, that is positive side. So I have to plot this value on this side. So here it has to be this side. Whatever that 450, 14, you plot it. Then here, this end, it is, this side is the tension side. So I will plot it this side. Right? That whatever value you got. It need not be to scale. Approximately you can show it. Proportionately at least. Exaggerate something, don't show like that. Proportionately, proportionate sketch, you can show it. Then join this and this. That is the fixed moment diagram on that particular member AB. So this is positive, this is negative. Always inside the frame it is positive, outside it is negative. Then take this here. These are the moments for this member. So this is 450 by 7, same as this. So proportionately it has to be same length. And here whatever the value which is there, I will assume it is a little bit more or less, whatever it is, join them. So this is always negative, right? So this is fixed moment diagram, whatever you got, member end moments, whatever you have determined during analysis. On this, you have to superpose free moment diagram, assuming each of the members to be simply supported. Free moment means whatever loading is there, you have to like it, plot bending moment diagram. That is always positive. Since it is negative or positive, we plot that positive free moment diagram always on the negative side of this, so that we can take the net moment diagram, net between on each member. So here, for this free moment diagram will be, because it is UDL, free moment diagram will be a parabolic one, WL squared by 8, which is the moment here at the center, which is nothing but 50 into 6 square divided by 8, that is 1800 by 8, that is 225. So the 225 is the value here, that is parabolic. I will plot it. I will plot it on the negative side I told. So depending upon this, I will assume that it is lesser than this 225. Okay? So then you just hatch it. Here I don't have any free movement diagram because there is no load. So only this itself is the bending moment on that member. Here, this portion is negative. This is positive. So the net diagram is whatever left behind. You can hatch it. Here also, this is negative, whereas this is positive portion. The net will be this. Here, this is the net. So here it is positive, here it is negative, negative. This is your net bending moment. That takes care of the entire analysis. Right, in 15 minutes, I have completed it. 15 or half an hour, right? Okay, half an hour with explanation. So you should be in a position to solve these problems in half an hour in the examination, at least. Or maximum 40 minutes. That's the only thing. That takes care. Right? This is about analysis of non-sway rigid plane frames. Right? Now we will take up the sway type of frame. Here, to simplify a sway type, I will take same example. I will provide a roller here, that's all. I will make some small change to explain the procedure for analysis of sway rigid plane frames. I will take a roller support, and if possible I will take this loading, I will retain same, no problem. So that I can use the same equations. 50 kilonewton per meter, only I have made this change as a roller. With this small simple change made, automatically there is a vast change in your problem analysis. This problem earlier when it was fixed, it was very, very simple because kinematic indeterminacy was only 1. Now the kinematic indeterminacy will enormously increase. From 1 to 3 it will jump. Just watch. So we will take up this problem. This is the next problem I am considering. I will just explain in the same steps whatever the modification which will occur. I will go on altering there itself in each step. Right? First, kinematic indeterminacy. Same procedure. A, no change. 0, 0, 0. Right? Because it is fixed and there cannot be any displacement. When you come to the B, here, theta B will be there, theta A 0 because this is not changed. When you talk about this horizontal displacement, I have changed it to roller. Correct? Here I made it roller. When I made it roller, earlier I was telling since this was 0 fixed, I told this is also 0. Now it is not. That's a change. See how immediately it has changed into both the places. Not only at that support, it affects the other adjoining joints also. It passes the information immediately. It will pass the bundle. So here, this is possible. So always, that means this member AB, it has a horizontal movement. Because for this member AB, here it is not possible. Whereas this end B, it can move like this because this end also can move. Since this is axially rigid, whatever this moves, same amount this also should move. That means this and this value has to be same. So if I will call this as delta, this also delta. So then This is the change. So now it becomes a sway type of frame with this direction. But taking that sway where you don't have any load in that direction, right? You take it in the positive direction of coordinate system. Here there is no load in this direction at all in the given problem. So you take in the positive direction of the coordinate axis system. Suppose if they give a load here on this member, then it has to move in that direction. Right? If you have a load in this direction, then you take sway in this direction. If you have load in this direction as well as in this direction, you see how much load is there, what is the magnitude of load from left to right, what is the magnitude from right to left, what is whichever side which is maximum, that side you take sway. Right? That is the clue, which direction you have to take this way. Because that minus 3 delta by L, that delta, here in the first step itself, you can judge. If load is given, you judge which direction it moves. Then automatically substitute that delta, right? Delta value. Similar to sinking of support, that delta value you substitute. Otherwise, in the positive direction, you take it. This is delta, this is delta. Here theta b, it is there, there is no problem. Now in this, see, delta is there, this is 0 and this also 0. That is not change.
Theta
This
c.
is there.
Theta c.
Since it is roller,
Roller.
there is rotation is possible. So now you see kinematic indeterminacy is theta b,
Theta
theta c,
Delta.
delta. It is jumped. Earlier it was only
Theta
theta
b.
b. Now it is theta b, theta c, delta. Kinematic indeterminacy all of a sudden
3.
jump to 3. So that is the first step you have to identify. Now this is automatically sway frame, right? That whether it is sway frame or non-sway, you can conclude in the very first step itself. That's why I was repeatedly telling, don't do any mistake in the first 3 steps. It will lead to entire work getting eroded fully, or whatever the amount of work you put afterwards in solution and so many things. Drawn the Pendymoon diagram, they all go as a waste. These 3 steps also, when doing the scheme, probably you ask your faculty, they will say in the scheme also these first 3 steps carry more marks. Right? In slope deflection equation, identifying kinematic indeterminacy, getting the equation. Solution, normally some minor marks. You don't lose much if you do these things correctly. Then this, no change, member and forces, it has to be same. Reactions also, it will be same because I have written H also here. This H, automatically it will be 0. It will come as 0 while doing the calculation. Even if you mark it, it doesn't harm. But this, you have to mark it perfectly because that will be used here in slope deflection equation. Whereas these things are not used, so that you have to be careful. This kinematic indeterminacy, don't do any mistake. And first step is over. Coming to second step, MAB. Here, earlier I took EI by 2, 2EI by L, theta A, 0, no change, theta B, same, but minus 3 delta by L. This AB, it will move like that, it will have delta. That delta will be delta itself. So this term you are going to get 3 into EI delta by L. 3 EI is EI itself, 3 EI delta, you have taken sway as delta divided by 4. So this will be 3 EI delta by 4. So therefore, if you simplify, you will get EI by 2, theta b, then this will be 3A minus 3EI delta by 8 into delta. This is your first equation. You are appreciating the change which I am making. In the same problem, member configuration is not changed, only support condition. Some members which are not sway has become sway. I am just introducing at the appropriate place the correction. And here MBA, this is not changed. This is 2 theta b and delta term. Here psi minus 3a delta by 8 I have taken. Here naturally it is clockwise rotation. So delta is in the positive direction. Slope deflection equation we are taking minus. So that minus you have to take it as it is. Because delta will be positive direction. So this is positive, so that equation remains same. That same convention is another thing we have to take care here. That's why I was telling when no lateral load is given, sway load is given, you have to take in the positive direction. Right? If load is given in this direction, you take it. Otherwise, if it is opposite direction, you take that sway in that direction. This you take it as positive. Right? These are the things which you have to be careful while writing the slope deflection equation in analysis of sway fields. And here this is 3I delta by 4. So this finally after simplification, this becomes EI by 2 and 2 theta b, EI into theta b, that remains same as in the previous step. This will get added up. So EI by 2 into 3EI delta by 4, that is nothing but 3EI delta. EI already I have taken outside. So
3
it is
delta.
3 delta by 4. EI is already 3 delta by L only. It is 2 theta A, theta B, 3
Minus 3
delta
delta
by L. So this will be 3EI by 8 delta. Here this also 3EI by 8 delta. So if you write in first step, same thing you have to write.
There are also 3 delta by 4. Minus 3 delta by
This is 3 delta by
4.
4. Correct. This is 3 delta by 4. So this is your second equation. That's the change. A, B, B, A. Now coming to BC. BC has not undergone any sway, no change. This equation remains same. See, in the same example, I am introducing what is the change which has taken place here and what are the changes we have to incorporate in our calculation. CBCD, if this BCCD, it doesn't. Come to this third step, equilibrium condition. First condition remains same. Now I told it is sway frame, so there is one more condition, sway condition. Earlier it was non-sway, there is no sway condition, equilibrium condition. Now you have to get one more condition because here there are two unknowns now, three unknowns, MBC, MCB and delta, right? This one equation we got PABC 0 and MCB also 0. That is another at C. Earlier at C, MCB was automatically 0 because it was fixed. There is no condition coming. Here we get one more condition, MCB 0. This is sixth equation. So you have two moment equilibrium condition. Now, but we have three unknowns, theta B, theta C, delta. One more equation you should get. That is called sway condition. That is the change in the sway frame analysis. That to apply that sway condition, follow the steps properly. So we take the free body diagram of the frame fully. right? We mark all the horizontal reactions. Sway means only vertical member undergoing sway. That of course you can make it as a rule because I listed about a dozen of problems only. It is rectangular frames. Beam members will not undergo any sway. Only columns will undergo sway. Columns undergoing sway means it is movement only in the horizontal direction only. Nothing other than that. So simply blindly you follow for sway condition sigma h is equal to 0. All horizontal movement because sway has to be only in the column members, not be this horizontal forces only to be 0. That's why only you mark all the external horizontal loads and external horizontal reaction develop. That's the first step you are doing in sway condition. This is moment condition. Now I am explaining sway condition, which we have to get. So this is here I am getting horizontal reaction H. Here at this support I don't get horizontal reaction because it is roller. It is allowed to move. Only this. So then you apply that condition sigma h is equal to 0. Equilibrium condition. Sigma m equals 0 at each joint I have considered. Now I am applying sway condition sigma h equals 0. Sigma v equals 0 will not come into picture because beams are axially rigid. So that axis of the beam, normal movement is not at all there. Forget it. Only this. Right? Follows clearly this wave frame analysis. And now this H means you take all the forces HA. Always you take positive directions. These are non-reactions. Horizontal reactions at support. Positive direction is this HA, that direction. Then if any load is given, I told you if a load is here in this direction, that load you take it. If it is in that direction, positive. If load is in the opposite direction given, minus. If load is there both positive, negative, write it. Positive direction, negative direction. Whichever comes, maximum it takes care. Here it is only this HA is equal to 0. That's all. So this HA that we have to remember, reaction at the base of a column member is given by sum of the end moments. Sum of the column end moments where reaction is determined divided by height of the member. If a load is given on the column member, then moment due to that load about the top end. This is base where reaction is taken. About the top end you have to take moment of any load which is there. While taking that moment, if it is anti-clockwise, take it negative, otherwise positive. So here this HA is nothing but MEAB plus MBA. Sum of the fixed end moments, then moment due to external load on the member. There is no external load on the member, so it is 0 divided by height of the member. That formula you have to remember. Always. First thing is you mark horizontal reaction at the base in the positive direction, positive global direction. Then indicate that value of that HA as sum of the end moments, MAB, MBA in terms of that. And if any load is there, creating horizontal sway, moment due to that load also about top end. Because HA we are determining, I have to take moment about top end. The shear, we are determining support reaction, I am determining, I have to take moment about one of the support, other support. We are taking about that. Right? So here this. So this has to be 0 or this MAB plus MBA will be 0. This is your
Sway
X.
condition.
So 3 equilibrium equations to solve 3 unknowns, theta B, theta C, delta. This is another change. This is the only check. Other things simply it goes. Substitute these values, you will get a set of simultaneous equation in that unknowns, solve it, plot the Bendimoon diagram. They are all mechanical works, but where that basic thing will change is here. In equilibrium condition, applying sway condition, that's one. In identifying the sway and in writing the slope deflection equation, that delta term with appropriate sign, positive or negative. Clear? Three important things in the analysis of sway. Identifying sway, writing slope deflection with appropriate sign, equilibrium condition, applying the sway condition. Right? You take this, then formation of equation, club this, here I got only one, straight away I got the solution, now I don't get it, I will get one equation, another this also I have, I will substitute MCB, I will get another equation, then this, another equation, I will get three equations. Then I have to solve those equations, solution of equation. Then obtain the final. Right? That you have to do. That's all the check. Now I have completed all slope deflection method of analysis of rectangular frames and beams. Beam is also a frame, but I am calling this as rigid frame beam by a separate name. Beam only one member along a line, no sway. Here sway is there only in column member, only column member, only in the direction, only sigma h equals 0. Sum of the end moments, column end moment into that. These are the only things that matter. Right? So you can work another example like this. You can take it. This. So 50 kilonewton per meter, 6 meters, 4 meter, 3 meter, EI is constant. You can cook up the problem on your board. Take this and I will give you a load, 20 kilonewtons. So you can try this. Here also, kinematic indeterminacy, theta here, theta here. Because it is load is there, sway has to be in this direction. So delta is here. Delta, theta B, theta C. So three unknowns. So develop slope deflection equation. When once unknown displacements are known, you can write it. You need not have to bother about the reaction and this. Just for regular procedure, I told. Otherwise, this you need not have to bother. Only this kinematic indeterminacy is important. Having identified that, immediately you can go to slope deflection equation, equilibrium condition. Here also, sigma h equals 0. That is, if you call this as A, D, here, HA plus HD has to be 0. HA plus HD plus 20.
Plus 20.
Because all are in the same direction, has to be 0. This HA is MAB plus MBA divided by this height.
So
because this load is joint load.
Joint load.
Right? It is not acting on the member.
If it is acting on the member, we have to take
If it
moment.
is acting on the member, then you have to find the fixed time moment also in the first step. And here also, in the HA determination also, that load to be taken. So that's the change. So this is easier when compared to that load. That load is there, that fixed time moment also you have to take for MAB bar, MBA bar. Here we are taking 0. If the load is given on the member, you have to take that also. Here HA plus HD plus 20 equals 0. HA is MAB, MBA divided by 4. HD is MDC, MCD by 3. Right? And plus 20 equals 0. MAB, MBA and all you know. So it is little bit lengthy, that's all. By simplification, when that equilibrium equation when we are writing, here it is only 1, there you may get 2. but all same type of procedure. You need not have to be afraid. It is different and all. Only you will get single story, single bed. Not single bed, two bed also can be given. Only single story problems you will get because kinematic indeterminacy should not be more than 3 they have told. But I have taken 3 also, maximum 3 I have taken here because that's the maximum time consuming problem which I have taken here explained. So try to do problems on this. With this we have completed slope deflection method of analysis. Next Monday class we will take up moment distribution and start with.